here, and today we'll be discussing about operating system security. We already covered a lot of topics like OS hardening, what is OS and all. So we'll now see some more concept in that, how you can secure yourself, how you can secure your desktop, how you can secure your mobile phone and all, right? And finally, I'll be giving you a demo how actually you can create a malware which is called RAT for Windows system as well as for Android system. Okay, so this is the outline of the session. We'll start with some of the security concept. What do you understand by security and all? And then we'll discuss about cyberspace, cyber crime, and finally cyber security. Then we'll discuss what are the various threats which is available on your desktop, on your mobile phones and all, and how actually you can protect your mobile phone or desktop, even your email and your web security and all. And finally, as I told you, I'll be giving a quick demo how you can create a RAT for Windows and Android. So to start with the session, these two things are there. Number one is internet. Number two is World Wide Web. Now, internet, we already knows what is it. And World Wide Web, it is a part of internet. It's a protocol which is called HTTP, which will allow this HTML pages to be browsed among the end users. So this World Wide Web is a part of the internet. It's one of the component of the internet. Now we have two terms. The best thing of the internet. It says that everything is connected and it is a global network. What does that mean? So internet, as we discussed earlier, it's a global network which is accessible by the end user, which means that you can even browse any website which is located anywhere in the world. You can communicate anybody through email, right? If that guy or that person is connected to the internet, right? So because of this only, you are able to do, you can browse internet from your pocket computer. It's called mobile phone, right? You can do online transaction. You can do chatting, Facebooking, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is now been possible because of everything is connected and it's a global network. So this is the best part of the internet, right? And it's a very good feature of the internet. Now, next is what? The worst part of the internet, which has been mentioned here, is same. The worst thing of the internet. It says that the same thing, everything is connected and it's a global network. So this is the worst part. Why it is the worst part? Because if everybody is connected, if I am connected, if you are connected, if everybody is connected, then we have something called bad guys, the hackers. They are also connected, right? They are also connected to the internet. So they can actually try to get your information. They can try to hack you, right? So you should protect yourself from that bad guy, which is called the hackers. So this is the motto of this particular session, how you can secure your desktop and mobile phones from the hackers, right? Okay. Now let us talk about what is a security. The security, according to two boys of 10-year-old, is this. Security is this. A security guard is sitting and sleeping. What is it? You call it a security as per this 10 years boy students. Again, security guard is sitting. The same question I asked to my daughter. What is security? My daughter told me security is this. We have our great Prime Minister Modi ji, and security guard is protecting them, and this is what you call as security. Now I am talking about a computer security, right? I am talking about a computer security. So according to a junior high school ICT teacher, the computer security is this. They also don't know what actually is the meaning of the computer security. They just want to protect the system physically. It should not be stolen by anybody, right? So this is what is you call as a computer security as per the high school ICT teacher. Now, if you talk about the security is not, we don't have any clear-cut definition of computer security, but it's a continuous process. It's a continuous process. For example, you want to secure your system. On day 2, we talked about OS hardening, or day 1, we talked about OS hardening, right? So we have a process, right? So you have to install antivirus, you have to update your system, right? You have to install firewall and so on. So this is a continuous process. So today you said that I have antivirus with me. I have installed antivirus and my antivirus is up to date. My system is up to date. I don't have any bug or any vulnerability on my system. Then my system is secure. But you cannot say it is not 100% secure. Right? Nothing is 100% secure in this world. So tomorrow we may get new bugs in Windows 10. Using those bugs, the hackers can come inside your system and then try to get some information. So it's a continuous process. So security is a process of maintaining an acceptable level of perceived risk, right? Perceived risk. So this is what you call as security. It's a continuous process. So today you're secure, tomorrow again you have to do some process to make it again secure. Day after tomorrow also you have to do something to make it more secure, and so on. Okay, so next is, these are the features of security which you have learned in past 3-4 days. I guess Dr. Misbauddin Mohammed, he might have talked about this security features: confidentiality, integrity, availability, and all. Now let us discuss one more time, what do you mean by confidentiality? What is confidentiality? It will assure that the information is shared only among authorized person or the organization. So only authorized person can see or can read the information which you are sharing. Right? So this is what you call as a confidentiality. So it's roughly equivalent to privacy. It is a privacy. You can say it is a privacy. It is a private to you. Some information is which is private to you, which should not. Integrity. Integrity. So if you see here, I have two things. Number one, left hand side, the note. I have written one note to my executive director saying that you please approve something. So this is the note what I have written. But my executive director is not approving this note. He says not approved and his signature. Now how I can tamper this? This is the physical record. This is what is called a physical record. You have a paper in that it is written. Now I can easily approve this note. How? I'll just put one E at the end. Note. So this is the note which I have given to my executive director. So if he's not approving, I can approve it. How? I'll just put an E at back of this and note E. So it will become note. This note is now approved. So total the meaning of this has been changed. This is how you can actually change, or you can say the integrity of the physical document can be modified. Same thing applies to the digital document. So what is integrity? It says that the assurance that the information is authentic and complete. So it will assure whether this information, which is a digital information, it is authentic and it's complete. What you wanted, the same is there. For example, if I'm downloading say suppose a software called Firefox from the internet. Now, once I downloaded, in between hackers has modified the content of the software. It's called for Firefox. Now the modified version what I got here, right? So in that case, the integrity of that software has been modified. It is now wrong software what I have got it. So what is the meaning of integrity? This is the actual meaning of the integrity, where you say that it will provide you the information whether it is authentic or complete or not. Next is availability. So availability of information refers to ensuring that the authorized parties are able to access the information when it is needed. So if you want to browse any website, that time that website is not functioning, it's a malfunctioning, means you are not able to access. Means there's an issue with the availability, right? So these are three terms of the security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now let us talk about cyberspace. What do you understand by cyberspace? The cyberspace is this word where actually you can say it's an internet where each and every electronic gadgets are connected to that particular network. For example, your mobile phone is connected, your server is connected, your desktop is connected, your pager is connected. All electronic gadgets which is having network capability, those gadgets are connected to this particular internet. It's called cyberspace. So who are connected to this cyberspace? So almost everybody in one way or other is connected to this world, cyberspace world. So ladies in the markets, they are connected to run their businesses. So these are the ladies who are actually working their businesses in this cyberspace. Next is what? The people sitting on a remote place are also connected. So because of this, you are doing chatting, Facebook chatting or online chatting or whatever, right? So you can communicate. So who else is connected? You can see our friend, the farmer, is connected to it and Facebooking in the coconut tree. Okay, so it says that those people also are connected, but still the main thing is what? Our government is connected. Government of India is connected. The judiciary, lawmakers are connected. Police stations are connected. Militaries, banks, banking sector, health sector, universities, schools. Almost everybody in this country is being connected to this cyberspace, which is called the internet. So if everybody is connected, then you know that you have a bad guy. And this guy is called the hacker, the ethical hacker or a cracker, right? This guy also is connected. This guy can be from China, can be from Pakistan, or can be from any other country who wanted to get something from India, from you, right? So this guy also is connected. So we need to protect ourselves from this guy. Now let us discuss, what do you understand? What do you mean by cyber crime? Okay, let me open the chat window. I didn't open the chat window. Okay, one question is there. Sir, when you cover mobile security, I request you to cover iOS too along with Android. Okay. I guess I don't have much time today. Up to 11:45, I need to finish this session. So in that, if I get time, then definitely I'll try to cover iOS also. But definitely Android is part of the session. So cybercrime. So everybody knows, what do you understand by cybercrime? Cybercrime is nothing. It is mentioned, the definition. It's a crime or any crime that involves a computer and a network. So it is not only computer, any electronic gadgets which is having computing capability, that is actually will be involving in this particular crime, cybercrime, right? So computer may have been used in commissioning of a crime. So, or it may become a target. So the definition of cybercrime says that you are using a computer as a tool to perform the crime, or your computer is acting as a target in that crime, then that crime actually is called as a cyber crime. Okay, so let us discuss some of the cyber crime which had happened in India. So it says that one of the online websites says that it's a news website. It says one cyber crime is happening in India every 10 minutes. So when I started our session 10 minutes back, already one cyber crime has happened in India. So according to ICERT, Computer Emergency Response Team, CERT India, says that 27,482 cases of cyber crime were reported in 2017 from this duration, January to June. But now it has changed. Now it is more actually, because of this COVID situation. Everybody is using internet. Even webinar is happening on internet. Everything is happening on internet. So this cyber crime rate has been increased now. Okay, one question from Kaushik Ghosh. In Indian context, which document is considered as a final with respect to breach of cyber? Okay, it's IT Act. It is amended 2015. So IT Act is a legal thing which deals with cyber crimes and all, right? So amendment 2015, it has happened. So that is the, now currently it is legal. Now one more amendment will come in next, I guess this year or next year. Now this is recent news. You can see this is actually very recent news. Okay, date is written, yeah, March 23, 2 days back. Today is, I guess, 26th, 3 days back. It says 15.5 lakh cyber security incidents happened in 2019 and 20 by the government. They are mentioned in the Lok Sabha. So lot of cyber crimes are happening. The cyber security incidents are happening in India. This is actually only reported, but the actual is 10 times more than this. This is only reported. Reported means what? People have gone to say police station, cyber police station, and they reported. whereas some of them have not reported. So the 10 times more, which is current situation, right? Now, in 2018, the Supreme Court website was hacked by the Brazilian team. So this website was defaced. What do you mean by defacing? Defacing says that your website, the actual content will be removed and they'll put their own content on the website. So when you're browsing that website, the original content they'll not show. They'll show the content which they have put on that. So this content is this when you were opening that particular website of Supreme Court in 2018. So this is again a cyber crime. Man hacks a Facebook page and he has held. So a 24 years old boy from Kochi, right? He hacked into a Facebook page of a woman and trying to extort money from her using her private images. So this is again a cyber crime which was reported in 2018. Okay. So ransomware, it started in 2016 and continues now also. Ransomware, it is actually happening. So Jaipur, in the Jaipur, see in Bangalore electricity also, in our CDAC also, this kind of incident happened, ransomware happened. Last time I guess I discussed with you, one of our employee, she wanted to convert her document file, Word document file into PDF. So she browsed some websites, there she uploaded the document. When she downloaded the PDF file, that PDF file was having a ransomware. So once she ran that PDF file, once you open that PDF file, actually the ransomware has installed and ransomware has encrypted all her important documents, right? And then they were asking money. This is from Rajasthan Patrika. So देश की सबसे बड़ी साइबर क्राइम लूट, पुणे के बैंक से 94 crore रुपए उड़ाए. So this is one more news from Rajasthan Patrika. This is very recent, 1 year back. This is very recent news. Again, in March 1st, it says that Chinese hackers are targeting Indian vaccine makers, SII, right, from Bharat Biotech. So they are actually keep trying to hacking our websites. So all the government websites, mighty websites, CDI websites, they are trying to get, or they are trying to hack, and they want to get some information, right? So they keep trying. Chinese are keep trying now. So we need to protect ourselves. Now, one more, the picture guess I'll give you. I used to give picture guess to you people, right? In last 2 sessions also I gave you one picture guess. I'll give you. Can you guess this picture? I'll give you say 5 seconds. Can you guess? Can you guess? If you know, you please type on the chat window. Okay, so you are not able to guess this. No issue. I'll tell you. This is the one gray hat hacker. Gray hat hacker is a term in ethical hacking. So this guy now, you can say he is a gray hat hacker, but the name of this guy is Kevin Mintic. This is the LinkedIn profile of this guy. He is the one among the world most dangerous hackers, right? He was earlier one among the world's most dangerous hackers. So now what he's a CEO, author, and professional speaker. Now, he, as I told you, dubbed as the most dangerous hackers in the world. And once one of the FBI most wanted. Why? Because he hacked into 14 major corporations of United States of America just for the challenge. And now what he's doing, he's a security consultant to Fortune 500 company and lot of governments worldwide, even including USA. So that's what these people are earlier hackers. Now they have become the security consultant. Now, what is a cyber security? Now you might understood what do you mean by what you understand by cyber security. So what cyber security will does? It will protect your computers. It will protect your networks. It will try to protect your programs, your data from what? From unintended or unauthorized access or unauthorized change or restrictions, right? So this is the cyber security. So what it contains? It contains, or it's a collection of tools, policies, security concepts, security safeguards, guidelines, risk management, and all that can be used to protect the cyber environment, to protect the internet. So this is what is you call as a cyber security. So these are the most leading threats on you. These are the most leading threats on your system. You have something called virus, you have something called worm, Trojan horse, logic bomb, social engineering, rootkits, botnets, zombies, everything we'll discuss one by one. Now, what is a virus? We earlier also had discussed what is a virus. The virus is a malicious program which is deliberately created by who? Deliberately created by hackers or malicious users to invade your system. It will actually invade your system. The virus will change the operation of your system. The virus can copy your data. The virus can disclose your data, right? So this is what is the meaning of the virus. Now you can see here what is written. You have a program A. That program, you are adding some code, extra code, right? When program is there, you have added some extra code. So you have a, you can say I have Windows 10 ISO file or Windows 10 operating system file I have. This is the file. And I added some extra code inside that. That code is malicious code. So whenever you install Windows 10, this code also will be installed and it will be running, right? So this thing is called infection. So this thing is called infection. It will become program B, means it will become a virus, right? So in order to recover or prevent virus attacks, what you need to do? You need to always avoid potentially unreliable websites or email. For example, as I took the example of our CDAC, that lady, she was not technical. She wanted to convert that word into the PDF. She went to some website, some online website. She used Google and saw that, okay, this is the free website which I'm getting. Now that free website is nothing, it's a malicious website, right? It will convert, but along with the conversions, what it will do, this PDF program, they added some extra code. That is a ransomware, what they added. And you downloaded the wrong program here. So when you downloaded the wrong program, you opened that wrong program, double clicked on that, means that wrong program means code also is running. So that ransomware will be running, which actually will encrypt your data. So that's what we should avoid, this website unreliable or malicious website browsing. Again, you should avoid email attachment. Suppose you are getting some email attachment from unknown user. Suppose Sanjay Adiwal @gmail.com, right? From this user, you have got some email attachment on your email ID. Will you open? You should not open. Why? Because you don't know that guy, right? And once you open also, you should not download the attachment. Whatever attachment which is there along with the email, you should not download. If you're downloading, means the malware or the virus is getting installed in the system. So again, to protect from the virus, what you should have antivirus installed on the system, right? So a lot of antivirus solutions available in the internet. As I told you earlier, you have Avira, AVG, Norton, Kaspersky, McAfee, lot of antivirus are available. You can install. Now you have a term called worm. So it's again a category of malware. What is malware? Yesterday we had a session from Mr. Gopinath. Malicious software is called malware, right? So virus is again a malicious software. Worms is a category of malware. It's again a virus only. It's a category of malware. What these worms will do, or what is the property of the worm? Now I'll take an example here. How the viruses will be spread. So viruses will be spread. Suppose I have a pen drive with me. Suppose this is a pen drive what I have now with me. This pen drive, if I am attaching to my system and that my system already is infected with some virus. If my system is already infected with some virus, I am attaching this pen drive to this infected machine. What will happen? The virus will jump to this pen drive. Now this pen drive, if I am giving to you and you are connecting to your laptop or your desktop, the virus will jump to your desktop. right? I'm talking about computer virus. So this computer virus will jump to your desktop. So your desktop also will be infected. So this is how virus will always need something called medium. So either pen drive or internet. Internet also is a medium, it's network. So internet means what? You have to go to malicious website, download virus. If you download a virus, it will be, if you double click, it will be installed. It will be running. So this is how virus spreads. Now worm is a category of virus which will spread automatically. It doesn't need a media. It needs only a network. That's all, right? The worm will not need a media like USB or say internet website. You only need to have a network. If my system is infected with the worm, you can see in this background, I have a lot of system in this lab. If my system is connected with the worm, this worm automatically will propagate to all other systems in this network, in this lab. Everywhere this worm will be there, right? So this is the properties of worm. Automatically it will be spreaded. So you can imagine this coronavirus, right? Coronavirus is a worm. You can think like that. Whereas you have normal flu, right? Normal flu is a normal virus. Coronavirus, it will automatically spread, right? You need a small distance, less than 6 feet, it will go immediately, it will spread. Okay. Now let us discuss about some of more viruses, which is called Trojan horse and logic bomb. So logic bomb is what? Logic, as it is mentioned, logic. In some logic, this bomb will be blasted. So you have some logic, the bomb will be blasted. So you can say timer. You have some timer in the bomb. For example, you bought or you downloaded a free software. Suppose you downloaded a free software from the internet. So what is happening, that free software will be converted to some logic bomb or some virus when it will be expired, the date, when the whatever 3 months, 4 months it is giving. So it is called evaluation period is expired. That software will become a malware. So it will actually harm your system. So a software will malfunction if the maintenance fees is not paid, then it will become a logic bomb. Again, employee triggers a database erase when he is fired. Suppose employee has been fired. Suppose my ED executive director says that Sanjay, tomorrow onwards, you please don't come to office. Now you are fired. Since I am here the database administrator, since I am here the network administrator, I know in and out of all the servers here. What I'll do, I'll say that next month if I'm going, what I will do, I will write some code inside our database server saying that remove everything after this date. So I'm putting a logic. It will erase all the files, important files, confidential files, whatever is there for this organization, it will be erasing. So it's called again a logic bomb, right? It's a logic bomb. Now, what do you mean by a Trojan horse? Trojan horse. It's nothing, it's again a virus, but it has a property. It says that it can be masqueraded as a beneficial program while quietly destroying the data or damaging your system. So suppose you say that I am downloading a Firefox, it's a web browser, suppose, right? But that along with the web browser, you have some malicious code, right? But you install your web browser, it is not harming your system. It is not say deleting your files or something like that, but it's simply sitting and try to destroy or damaging your system. Slowly, right? So if you download a game, might be a fun, but it has a hidden part of that email, your password file without knowing you. So what is here? So suppose the malware, this Trojan horse is installed in your system, it may track your keyloggers or key whatever you're typing, it is logging and sending to the hacker. So your username and password, which you're say typing on your web browser, it might be sending to the hacker. So this is what is called a Trojan horse. Now, one more attack can be there on your system or on you is social engineering, right? Social engineering, what it will do? It will manipulate people into performing actions or divulging confidential information. For example, I will take one example here. If you might have browsed a malicious website, any malicious website in past, if you have browsed, you might have seen a pop-up which is coming here. Hello, pop-up will say that hello, a virus is there in your system. It has been found that a virus is there on your system, and you please click on this link to heal that virus. So that pop-up is nothing, it's a social engineering. It is telling you to that you please download me and I'll heal one of your virus, which is actually not there, right? So same thing, I have come to repair your system, I have some software patches, right? But these people are actually doing social engineering on your system and try to ask you to download some virus and install that virus. So the social engineering can happen through email. So you might have noticed some of the emails saying that you got the lottery, right? Lottery of say 1 crore rupees. So to get your lottery, you have to click on this link or so on. So if you click on that link, it may ask your details. Suppose what is your name, what is your bank name, what is your ATM card, debit card, and all, everything will ask. The PIN number also it may ask. So it's nothing, it's a social engineering. So email, ABC Bank has noticed a problem with your account. So suppose I'm getting an email from State Bank of India. I'm having an account in State Bank of India. I'm getting an email saying that it has been observed that your system or your account of State Bank of India has been hacked. So please click on this link to reset your password. So that link is actually hacker's link. So if I go to that link, I'll type my current password and then I'll type my new password. Then the current password, whatever I'm having, it will be there with the hacker. So this is nothing. It's a social engineering trick to get your password. It can happen through phone call also, right? Through phone call also, the social engineering can happen. How it will happen? Same thing. Instead of email, they will call in person. So they'll say that I'm manager of State Bank of India calling from SBI, and we know that your account is here and it has been compromised. You please tell me your password. I will reset it. So this is the thing. It's again social engineering. It can happen in person. Social engineering can even happen in person. For example, if I'm going to my native place, I'm from Rajasthan. If I'm going to Rajasthan by train, so train is 2 days journey, right? So a lot of people will be there in my train, that compartment. So if hacker is also sitting, we want to become a friend, a closer friend to me, right? And try to get some information from me. He may get. So he can trick me. So he will get to know that I'm from CDAC and you want to know something from me about CDAC, the servers, the network, or whatever. So it's again a social engineering in person. So these are the basics, few social engineering attacks what I have shown you. There are plenty. Now botnet. Now what is a botnet? Botnet is nothing. It's a collection of bot which will create a network to hack someone. Now what is bot? Let us discuss what is bot. Then we'll discuss botnet. Now bot is nothing. It's a malicious code. It's a virus. So I guess all of you, not even single person, all of you are having a desktop. There you have say pirated version of any software. For example, you're using MS Office, a pirated copy of MS Office. Suppose you're using Windows itself, it's a pirated copy. Some other software you're using, Photoshop, it's a pirated copy. So everybody, all of us are using pirated copy of the software which is there in our system. Now, this pirated copy is what? See, you should know that nothing is free in this world. Nothing is free in this world. So they want something from you. That's why they are giving something free. So what they will do, suppose I am a hacker. What I will do, I will buy Windows 10. I know the actual functionality of Windows 10, the code of Windows 10. What I'll do reverse engineering, try to hack Windows 10. Once I hack Windows 10, I will put my code there, right? One malicious code I'll there, and that code is called bot, right? Now that code I'll put there, and then I will bundle that Windows 10 with that bot, and that Windows 10, I'll say it's a pirated version. I'll put on the internet in some blog or somewhere, or Tor websites. I'll put this is the pirated copy of Windows 10. Now all of us will download that pirated copy. So once we download that pirated copy of software, you are installing that pirated copy of software on your laptop or desktop. Now along with that pirated copy of software, you also are installing that bot which was bundled along with that software, right? So Windows 10 also has a bot. So once you install Windows 10, bot also will be installed and it is running. After that, you will say that I am installing a genuine antivirus solution. I download from Amazon, I bought from the Amazon, I paid 500 rupees, I am installing. But still that bot will not be healed, right? The bot will always be there. Suppose it is fixed with the kernel. Then it's a problem. So whenever your system where the bot is installed is connected to internet, it will connect that bot to the hackers, means to me, saying that one system has come up, you please tell me what I'll do with this. I'll say don't do anything. I don't want to harm this bot. Just keep quiet and keep running there. So if I get, suppose we have two companies, Infosys and Wipro. Wipro will come to me, suppose, saying that you please try to shut down the Infosys network for some time because of some thing. So they will come to me. Then what I do, I'll say that I will, whatever bots in the world I have in my control, suppose this Windows 10 is downloaded by say 100 billions of people or 10 billions of people in the world, 10 billions of desktop is under control of me. And they will actually form a network called bot network, which is controlled in me, right? Which is controlled in me. Now what I do, I'll send one command to all those bots that please send some network packet to Infosys, and Infosys network will be jammed, right? So 10 connections or 10 billion connections will be connecting to Wipro, and Wipro's internet will be down. It's all business will be down. Everything will be down, right? So this is nothing. It's a botnet. So that's what I mean to say. Please don't install any pirated copy of software in your system. If you're installing also, then don't connect that onto the internet. As per I take, piracy is a fraud. You will be actually caught, right? So this is what is a botnet, network of bots. This already we have discussed ransomware. This no need to discuss. Now, how to protect yourself? We have discussed about a lot of attacks. How to protect? This already we have discussed long back when we were doing OS hardening. So let us try to discuss desktop security. You know, first thing is what? You don't use piracy. Second is what? You install antivirus. Third thing is what? You enable firewall. And fourth thing is what? You keep updating your system. Keep updating your system, right? So this is what you have to follow if you want to protect your desktop. So antivirus, as I told you, a lot of antivirus are available in the market. So one of them you choose according to your budget and all, right? What feature you wanted in that, you just check that virus, install that virus, and your system is protected from the viruses at least. So if you have a pen drive which is virus infected, if you connect to your desktop, automatically that virus will be healed. It will be actually healed or it will be quarantined. So your system will be safe. This is the first thing. Second thing is what? Second thing says that you please always enable firewall. This already we discussed, right? So in Windows we have a firewall. In Linux also we have a firewall. Ubuntu system we have a firewall. It is called IP tables, right? So that has to be enabled. And once the firewall is enabled, means outside to inside your system is protected. Even from inside to outside. Suppose one bot which is running, it wants to connect to outside on some specific port, but that port is blocked at the firewall level, right? That port is blocked at the firewall level. Then that bot will not be able to connect to hacker. Your system will be safe, right? So this is a very important step. You have to actually enable the firewall system. So by default, Windows have firewall. Linux also we have a firewall called IP tables. Third thing of desktop security or your server security is what? Keep updating your system. So you know that Windows or any other system software or operating system, today if they are launching, tomorrow they might find some vulnerability or bugs inside the software, right? It is keep finding some of the bugs inside the software or the vulnerabilities in the software. So those vulnerability has to be patched. So Microsoft always will give you the patch, and it is a free of cost. If you have bought the licensed version of Microsoft Windows or any operating system, they will give you the patch freely. And they have a feature of auto patching, means automatically once your system is connected to internet, the automatic update will happen on the system through Microsoft website. So the system or OS will connect to Microsoft website, download the necessary patches, and will install so that your system is secure. The system is secure. Same thing applies to the Linux also, but Linux auto patching is not there at all. You have to do it manually, right? So Linux, Ubuntu, we talked. What is Ubuntu? Ubuntu is Linux. So in that Ubuntu, we have a command apt to install any software. You have to use apt. So you say that apt get update. Once in a week, you should write this command to a Ubuntu system. Apt get update means prior to updating your system automatically, right? Once a week, you please type this command. Okay, so how to update we have seen. Okay, one question from Chaitanya, and how systems not connected to internet are patched? It's a very interesting question from Chaitanya, and how systems not connected to internet are patched. Now, to suppose your system which is part of a LAN which is actually not connected to the internet and is not having any gateway to the internet, how those can be patched? You actually have to have one system inside the LAN, and that system should have internet access, and that system should patch those systems. So in Windows, we have a system called WSUS, Windows Service Update Service, Windows System Update Service, WSUS. So WSUS server should be installed somewhere in the LAN, and that WSUS will patch your LAN system, which is actually not connected to the internet. Right? Okay. Whether the smartphones are everything, all the electronic gadget which has a network or processing capabilities is a part of cybercrime. Even IoT device, which can be suppose a webcam, right? It's an IoT webcam. So that also is part of a cybercrime. If from there something is happening, I am trying to capture that webcam, right? I'm a hacker. I'm capturing. I'm from Pakistan. I'm capturing a webcam of CDAC, right? CDAC CCTV camera. I'm capturing. Means I'm doing a cybercrime. So everything, smartphone or anything which is having network access and computing power, it will become a cybercrime. Okay, so subsystem updating is over. Now mobile phone security. Let us discuss about how you can secure a mobile phone. So as cell phones are becoming more like pocket-sized computer. Yes, our cell phone is pocket-sized computer. You can do everything on our cell phone, right? Nowadays, I'm talking about Android or iOS, whatever. But if it is a pocket size of computer, it is vulnerable to different form of cyber attacks, because your system, your mobile phone is always connected to the internet. You have a network access to the internet. Now, people want your data. Yes, hackers actually want your data, and this is a fact of the life. So it applies to all kind of smartphones. It applies to Android, it applies to BlackBerry, iPhone, anything. So what they will do? When a smartphone is infected by the hacker, for example, my smartphone, it's a Android phone. Now what attacker can do? Attacker can zombie the machine. Zombie machine is what? It will use my system, my mobile phone, to send some messages, spam messages, right? Or spam email from my mobile phone. So my mobile phone is sending spam messages to others if it is under control of hacker, right? Hacker can use my smartphone to make phone calls. Yes, definitely. Again, hacker can actually record the conversation between the user and others. Okay, one Sudeep Buya is asking, OEM under student version of many software. Does such usage may be potential threat? As you rightly said, nothing is free. See, student version is actually, they will not give you the full version. For example, if you talk about Adobe Photoshop, they will not give you the full feature, right? They will only give you the limited feature. You can do up to this, that's all. So that's the free, and it is from Microsoft. And not Microsoft, from Adobe. Suppose the Adobe is from Adobe. That Adobe Photoshop is from Adobe. Adobe is marketing that so that student will learn and they will go to some organization. That organization will buy Adobe for them, right? So that is good. It is not for potential threat. That is not a potential threat. It is good. So if you are buying from the Microsoft or you are downloading from the Microsoft, then it's okay. So Microsoft Windows Server 2019, they are giving free for 160 days. 160 days free, okay, you can use it, right? And they are getting benefited. How they are getting benefited? You know that they are marketing their products freely. If people are using, they will get addicted to that and they will download or buy, right? So that again, it is actually is not free. They'll future they'll get some revenue. Currently they are giving free. Future they'll get the revenue. So I guess I answered your question, Sudeep. Okay, so this is there. Now, what else attacker can do once he has the access of your system? He can get the personal photographs, music, videos, whatever he wanted. Again, he can get the professional data, contacts, calendars, notes, and all. He can reduce the utility of the smartphone by discharging the battery, right? Denial of service attack he might want to do on your mobile phone. Again, stops the operations and or starting of the smartphone by making it usable. So this is what he can do once he can get access to your smartphone. Now, how you can protect your smartphone? Same thing. What we talked earlier, same thing we will do here. In the rest of what we talked, same thing we can apply here. Number one thing, install mobile antiviruses. I am 100% sure that out of you, only say 5% users are using mobile antiviruses. 5% of users are using mobile antivirus. So if you have 100 people, only 95 people are not using antivirus, 5 people only are using the antivirus, right? So we need to install antivirus for mobile phone as well. Again, we need to update the OS. Now, Android has a functionality that you can update it automatically. That has to be turned on. Again, you should update apart from the operating system. What are the installed app which you are having? Suppose I have an app of say YONO SBI. It's SBI app. That app also should be updated. Along with the operating system of Android, the app also should be updated. And we need to check the permissions of the app regularly. For example, I downloaded the Facebook, right? Facebook app. Now, why should I give access to the contacts for the Facebook? My contacts, why Facebook want? So that permission you please don't give. Anyway, your GPS is required for Facebook's when you are putting a photo and you're locating. Again, you want to capture photo, your camera is required. But why the Facebook want to access your contacts logs, right? So those app permission, you should check it clearly and then you have to actually remove, which is not needed at all. One question from Nilesh. From where we would get the mobile antivirus, sir? It is free at a Play Store. Yes, at a Play Store, you say Android antivirus. You'll get a lot of antivirus solutions. So all are not free. Some of them are free for trial period. For example, they'll say that you can use it. And even some of them are free, but the functionality will be not that much. For example, real-time scanning, they will not do. So better to buy a good antivirus from the Play Store. It will not cost more than say 200 rupees for 1 year. That you download and install always on your system. Okay, so what I will do here, this already you covered, this password security and all, everything has been covered. I'll not discuss. What I'll discuss here, a quick demo, how you can compromise a system, right? So I will use a Kali. So this is the Kali machine. I hope this is visible to you. This is the Kali machine, which is there with me. I'll just open my mobile phone and I'll open my hotspot. I'll open my hotspot. Just give me a minute. I'll just open my hotspot. In the settings and hotspot I have opened, and I will connect on my, I am having a laptop which I'll connect to this hotspot. That's all. To show you that demo, I need this connection. Okay, so now if you see here, this is the Kali Linux, right? This is the Kali Linux. Just 1 minute, yeah. So here I am creating one malware. You can see one malware I'll create. Okay, so I'll say MSF Venom. MSF Venom. You might be knowing already about Metaxploit framework. Metaxploit framework is nothing. It's a framework which has more than 2,000 exploits, which can you can use those exploits to target machines. So I'm using Metaxploit framework. In that one command is there, MSF Venom, right? Using MSF Venom, you can create a malware. You can create a virus. So what I'm trying to do, I will create a virus and I'll give this virus to you people. You just click on that virus and we'll see what will happen on my system. How I can access your system, right? So this demo, I'll show you a quick demo. So I have this software, MSF Venom from Metaxploitable on Kali. I will create a virus. So I'll say I'll use this payload. P means payload. I'll use Windows payload. In that we have something called meter preter, right? And reverse TCP. Reverse TCP, right? And I'll mention here localhost My system, the hacker system, the IP address of the hacker system, once the antivirus is active, it will try to contact which machine? It will try to contact my machine, this machine. It is having the public IP address, right? And on what port it will try to access on my machine? I'll say it will be accessing 8080, right? And I'll say you convert exe file or you make exe file, exe malware, and this is the file name. I'll say the file name will be game.exe, right? Game.exe, right? So this is the malware which will be created by Metaxploit framework using this command msbnom. Once this malware has been created, I already have created this malware. It is there with me, demo.exe, right? Demo.exe. This is the malware which I have created, demo.exe for Windows. Now this demo.exe can be downloaded from my system. How you can download? You please type to this particular website, 14.139.152. I'll type here. Okay, I'll just close this. Then I'll type on my web browser. Here I'll type 14.139.152.14/download. I'm typing this website. 1 minute, sir. Okay, I have to start the web server there, which has not been started here in this Kali Linux. I'll start a web server. This malware file I'm storing onto the web server, right? So I'll say I'll start the web server here. Start and then say Apache to service. This web server I'm starting. Now, once the web server is started, I should be able to just wait for a minute. Yeah. Now I should be able to download. You can see the file is there, demo. So you can, if you want, you can go to this website. This is the website name from the IP addresses, right? This is the IP address which you have to type and say download. So when you say download, this page will be open. So you have to download this particular file, demo.exe, which I'm going to download on my system here, right? On my system, I'll be downloading. So before that, what I'll do before downloading, let me start something here so that I will be able to, yeah, here I will start something. I will say that I'll open this Metaxploitable framework, MS. So one command is there, MSF console. Using this command, you'll be opening this particular console. In this console, what I'm typing something. I'll say use exploit multi-handler, right? This is the exploit. As I told you, more than 2000. I'm using old version. These many exploits are there, 1900. But later version, more than 2000 exploits. What you have for this Metaxploitable. So one exploit I'm using, and then I'll say I'll use this payload, right? Android, and then meter. Sorry, I'll use this Windows because I'm creating Windows malware, right? Not Android malware. I've created Windows malware. Windows and then say meter preter, and I'll say reverse TCP, right? I am now on my system hacker's machine, which is having public IP address. Here I am doing something. So I'll say set my local host name or localhost IP address .14, and I'll set my local port. I'll say 8080, right? I'll say 8080, and then say I'll run this exploit. So when the exploit has been running, I am using my other laptop here, which is kept here to me, just near to me, and I'm using my mobile hotspot, which has been connected here. And now I'll download that particular malware. So I'll type the same website name here, 14.139.152.14. And then I'll say here, this is download. And here I will click on this demo. Now this demo file, I am just saving here somewhere on desktop. And see, the Firefox is telling that this is actually not a valid file. It's a malware, but I am saying, okay, you download, allow download. Once I am downloading, then I'll be having that file on my desktop. Let me see where this file is. Yeah, you can see one connection has come here. Can you see here? One connection has come. Means one malware I installed, I'm running that malware and that is connecting to me. Right? The malware which is running on my laptop is connecting to me. Now, once that malware is connected, I am getting a reverse shell, a meter shell. Now here what I can do, lot of things I can do here. You can see lot of things I can do. Right? What I can do, I can even take a webcam snap. The webcam of this, I'll take a snap, right? So I'll type a command webcam snap. Now it will switch on the webcam and I see my webcam snap has come here. If you can see this, right? It is actually from my laptop. This is from laptop and which is in some other network. And there I downloaded the malware. So this is webcam snap. What else I can do? If I say this, I can do a lot of things. Even I can play some of the audio files there on that system. I can even see the keystroke, right? Whatever he is typing on the keyboard, I can get. Whatever username and password I'm typing on this, I can get here, right? Mouse event I can share. Screen share. If whatever is doing, that screen can be shared on me. So if I say screen share here, screen share, if I say here, so you can see the screen actually I'm using remotely access. So that's why that is not clearly shown here. Okay, it is not showing. Now it is showing. See, you can see here. So whatever I'm doing there, it will show there. So this is what I am accessing in that machine. If I'll change here something else, I'll say minimize this. So now after some time, it will be minimizing. The communication is slow because I'm using my hotspot, mobile hotspot. So I have done minimization, it will come here. See, it has come here now. So whatever he's doing, I can see here on my system. So malware is installed. I'm not harming, but I'm just observing what he's doing. You understood? I'm just observing what actually all of you are able to hear me, right? Am I audible to all of you? Because one query has come. Yeah, okay, done. So for him, only some issues there. Still no sound. He's telling something like that. Okay. So this is how the malware will work. So whatever I'm typing there, I can see here. Everything can be seen here. So this is nothing. It's a RAT, remote access tool, which I have installed on my system. This Kali. 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Yes. So which I have installed here, and here one connection has come. Same thing can be done on Android also. So I can create a meter of Android also. Right? So you can see a lot of commands I can run on the Windows. Screen share, mouse, I can check here, mouse, if I type here, the mouse will be, get the desktop, right? The desktop information will show you. These are the things which you can do here. Here actually what I can do, once malware is installed there, I can migrate this malware to that process, from that process to other process. That also I can do very easily. What are the good antivirus for Android? That we'll discuss here. A lot of antiviruses are there. If you go to Play Store, you'll get McAfee, Kaspersky. A lot of things are there. Depending on your budget and all, you can buy that. So Android also is the same. So what is the command which I have to type on Android is this. This is the command. So only the Android meter or Android payload I'll use here. So I'll say MSF Venom. Let me increase the fonts here to make it visible. This. So I'll say MSF Venom, this payload I'll use, this payload. This is for Android, right? And this APK file, if I give it to you through my web server, so if you open that 14.139.152.14, there you will get this APK file. And once you download this APK file on your mobile phone, if you download, you know what will happen? Once you run it, I will get your mobile phone access everything. I can even send an SMS from your mobile phone to others. I can see all of your SMS. I can even turn on your camera, front camera, back camera, whatever camera I can turn on. Even I can read your call logs. I can read your contact details. I can see your apps. I can run some apps and all, everything. Your full mobile will be in my control, right? So only one command which I am typing here, and then I am some social engineering I am doing, and then I am actually giving you my APK file through my web server. Once you installed it, then done, right? Story is over. Your mobile is in my control. As I shown you, that Windows is in my control, right? Okay, some of the questions are what about iOS devices, which are not, okay. See, iOS devices also, this also can be done. Only the payload we have to change it, right? For time being here, the payload for the iOS devices are very less. Because the majority of people are using Android only. So hackers only have developed Android. They are not developed more for iOS, but that also can be easily done, right? That also can be easily done. So if we'll go back to slides here, now we talked about mobile phone security, Windows security, and then we have seen a quick demo of how we can create a malware which can be deployed to the system, and then you can access the full access of your system or that infected machine. Now network security, how you can protect your network, right? So it's actually the duty of the organizations, system administrator or network administrator. He will use firewall, he will use end user firewall, or you can say gateway firewall, right? Edge firewall. And then he might install some IDS or IPS, which has already been covered yesterday, right? He can even have UTM, Unified Threat Management. Unified Threat Management. UTM is nothing. It's a single appliance or single device which has a capability of everything. It has a capability of firewall. It has IDS, IPS. It has antivirus or gateway antivirus. It has a VPN capability, right? Email filtering, email spamming, whatever. So everything is there in single device, which is called UTM, Unified Threat Management. This is only for organization, not for end users. It is not for end users. For organizations like Infosys, Wipro, CDAC, this organization, if they want to protect their network, they will install this kind of hardware. It's appliance, which is called Unified Threat Management. Then we have something called honeypots or honeynets. Honeypots means nothing. It's a vulnerable machines which we are putting on the internet of our network. And then we, if hackers accessing those machines, will get to know these people are hacker, will block their IP address or whatever from our firewall. So to know about hackers, we'll put the honeypots, which is actually weak machines, which can be easily exploited, right? So these all are network security devices. This we already seen, and this is the conclusion. This part is pretty important here. This part says that nothing is 100% secure in this world. That is, you need to understand. You cannot say that today I have installed viruses, my antivirus I have installed, and then my system is patched, I'm secure. No, it is not secure. Tomorrow your system may be infected with some new virus which is not there, which is not been detected by your current antivirus, right? So this is all about me. Any query which is there, you can type in chat window. Okay, one query is there, how to uninstall this virus which I have created. That virus actually I have not migrated to any other. So if you reboot your machine, that will not work. Just delete that file, that's all. Enough, and reboot your machine. Delete the file and reboot your machine, that's all. It is not installed, right? So any other question? One more question is there. Is what is this? Is safe to give antivirus the device admin permission? See, the antivirus need to be installed. Okay, you are talking about Android. So Android antivirus needs to access your files, right? So it needs a permission to access the files. So it needs a device access permission, your storage access permission to scan, right? So that permission has to be given. So can we safeguard our system by simply formatting and installing fresh OS? How many times you do? How often you will do? Suppose daily one virus has come to you and installed, and then your virus is infected. Will you reinstall daily? No. No. Suppose you are not able to heal that virus, you are not able to remove that virus is still there in your system, then last option is formatting or reinstalling, right? In college, we used to do this with Windows XP. So this can be done with, I did it with Windows 10. So I disabled the Defender here, right? I did with this Windows 10, I disabled the Windows Defender, then it got installed. Okay, then I am through. I am done now. Over to you, Pravesh. If any question is there, all of you please write to me. You can even note my phone number also. We can discuss further. Thank you very much, and stay safe. Pravesh, over to you.